What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, what's up? My name is Elizabeth, and this is The Joyful Sojourn, a community of people who love stationery and planning and love creative journaling, creative planning, and you love product reviews and hauls. I do all of these things here on my channel, and I share a lot of my life, my family, and who I am here as well. So I'm so glad that you're here. Today we are unboxing or opening up my latest Jet Pens order, and I'm going to start a swatch book for inks and stencils in a B5 Archer and Olive notebook. I don't know how far we're going to get in this video today, but let's just get into it. So let's start with the unboxing of the Jet Pens order, and then I'll show you the inks that I've slowly been collecting over the last few months. I'm new to the inks and stamps and stenciling world, and I hope that you guys are here on the journey with me because I think it's going to be fun. I definitely come from the sticker world when it comes to deco, and I'm just really having fun testing out and playing with some new mediums, and stamps and ink is a big part of that. So let's start with my Jet Pens order. I did purchase all of this on my own, and this is not sponsored or anything like that. So let's start with the first set of items. These are really popular index tabs. I got the color set and the gray set. These are Midori tabs. And I just, if you've been around for a while, I have a thing for date related stickers and stamps, and I have a thing for tabs. I really like tabs. So I don't know how I'm going to use these, but they are very popular for thinner paper because they don't add a lot of bulk, and they're teeny tiny. So these gray ones you can see. I mean, should we take one out just so you can see it? Let's take one out for kicks. But the idea is that they just fold over the page and give you a little something something to hold on to. Oh yeah, these are teeny tiny, but they've got numbers on it. So it can be used for monthly divider tabs, or if you've got different subject areas that you want to divide out in a notebook. Oh, this is going to take forever. I'm going to leave this out. The other tabs I picked up are also Midori. These are metal tabs, and I already have a set of these in this like rose gold or gold color. I think they call them orange on the Jet Pens website. I love these. These are actual metal tabs, and they just slide ever so slightly onto, or easily onto, a page, and they are teeny tiny, really thin, kind of minimalist, but because they're metal, it's really easy to pull them. That's what I'm really curious about. Actually, I'm going to take one of these off, and just for kicks, hope I don't regret this. Just curious about what this is going to feel like. I'm presuming we can take these off. Let's just test this. So I'm going to throw that down. Seems movable. And then fold it over. Oh, those are very minimalist. Can you see that little gray tab? That guy is teeny. Here, can you see that better? Teeny tiny. It's plastic, which I appreciate, but not as satisfying as the metal tabs. But in any case, I'm excited to have both options from Midori. And I know that I like these index clips. I highly recommend these. I just wanted to have another color options. So now I have that orange, but really it looks like gold and silver. So maybe I could, like, I don't know, go back and forth, going down the planner with different colors. So I got the index clips, and then we get into the pens, and really the inks are the stars of the show of this order. So I picked up more of these Unipin pens in the gray barrel. The gray barrel means that it is oil-based. The oil-based pens work on plastics. They work on the transparent sticky notes that are very trendy and popular. They won't smear or schmear. So I got the 01 and then the 03. Those are the sizes that I use pretty frequently. And just as a reminder, Uniball has the Unipin fine liner in the black barrel. This is your standard, use this on regular paper. And then the barrel looks exactly the same with the exception of the color. And it says oil-based ink marking pen, whereas this is water and fade-proof pigment ink. So here you can see the difference between the two. But I feel like every time I want one of these, I can't find it. So I just thought I'd get 2 of each. The cool thing about jet pens is that at the $35 mark, shipping is free. And sometimes these are hard to find and they're several dollars more, or you could get them from like small shop websites, I guess, as well. But it's definitely cheaper to throw them into an existing order on jet pens if you're placing an order anyways. Helps you get to the 35 bucks and shipping's free. So I got more of those. Then we get to the inks. So I really have been wanting to get some kind of neutral colors and grays because I love the look of a gray date stamp with black writing over it. So I couldn't find a gray in the Versamagic Dewdrop. These are the chalk inks. I really like the chalk inks. There's another one that the Sueneco Dewdrop style that I think it's called Memento, and that's more, I think it's a pigment ink, not a chalk ink, but I don't know. I like the chalk inks. I don't know what it is. Maybe one of these days I'll do maybe a test of the different, like how they finish differently. I'm sure somebody on YouTube has done that, but I really love the Dewdrop inks. At first, I wasn't sure if they would stay moist because the lids kind of pop off easily, but I've had no issues with the ones that I have. So this set has aloe vera, we'll go this way, pixie dust, spring pansy, sea breeze, and aloe vera. And then this is more neutral, and it's got Sahara sand, Niagara mist, wheat, and sage. And then I like this kind of, it looked like more of a blue gray online. This looks more blue here, but that's aspen mist. And then I do love the VersaFine inks. These are the minis. I got smoky gray and vintage sepia. I thought those would be really pretty. So those are the inks I have. Let me share with you my existing collection, which is not that large. So I think I will have time to swatch everything in this video. So we're going to make this into really a swatch video of my inks. I'm starting this journey. And so very much like, I don't have a massive collection, which is why this is going to be fairly simple, I think. But I have them separated into these plastic bins. I got a set of 10 of these bins on Amazon, and they're great. I have one of those extra wide but shallow Alex drawer sets that's really low to the ground, and I have it on wheels. And these fit so well in the drawers that I've got like all of my different types of bips and bobs for creative journaling and planning in like each of these bins. So even here you can see I've separated the Versamagic from my distress inks. And I mean, I might outgrow this or need another bin, but I don't know. I like being able to just grab a whole bin out of the drawer versus having a tray organizer and all of them kind of loosey-goosey in the tray. And then the other thing that I have in one of these are all of my brushes. I bought the black ones from Hobby Lobby. This was like my first set. And then I was like, it'd be really cool to have the different colored handle brushes. And then I could stick to certain ink colors being on their appropriate brush. So I got those shortly after I got the black handled ones. And depending on how I lay these down, they don't get smushed. So I've got basically all of my ink supplies in a drawer that says, I think, stamping or mixed media underneath my desk, which is really nice. So my goal today is to finally swatch out all of my ink colors, both the ones that I've just purchased and the ones that we have in these iris tubs. And I think I do have these in my Amazon storefront. So if you're curious about them, if you click the Amazon link in the description box, you'll be able to look through items that are in my videos, and you should be able to find this one. So I am using for my swatch book a B5 notebook from Archer and Olive. And I like the B5 size because it's going to fit a lot of swatches in one shot. I have another swatch book that is an 8x8 Archer and Olive, and I'm using that exclusively for pens. So I have a pen swatch book, and this is a brand new start to a swatch book that is for inks and stencils. But today we are focusing on inks. I have a stencil here that I've used quite a bit already. This is from Oops a Daisy, and I really like the ink splatter look to it. So I thought it would be fun to use the ink splatter to swatch all of the different inks. So what I'm going to do is start with the Versamagic Dewdrops, both the ones that I just purchased and the collection that I have here. And I'm going to speed things up. I may or may not include a voiceover. We'll see, and we'll hopefully get this done in a speedy amount of time. So let's get into swatching. Okay, friends, we have finished swatching my inks, and I did additional ones off camera because my gosh, I love the look of the like ink splatter from the Oops a Daisy stencil, but Sweet Niblets, it took a long time. So I ended up taking the notebook into my house and swatching things out while watching some TV with my husband. So let me show you where we're at with my ink collection, where I've now added the Jet Pens inks. So I did add some stickers here. These are from Planning Things Fun Alphabet Book. This book belongs to my collection, The Joyful Sojourn. And then I used stickers to create kind of a title page. It says Swatches and then ink and stencil, because this book is just going to be for my inks and for my stencils. And these stickers are also from Planything. She's got a couple of books that are, let me see if I can grab one, that are like colorful boxes, but they're like plain boxes, but she does solids, not just, you know, these framed ones. And I love these guys for adding extra texture to a page. And I add just additional stitching there to, I don't know, make it a little bit more interesting. So there's the ink and stencil swatches title page. Then I made an index. And again, everything is from, all of the labels are from the Fun Alphabet Book from Planything. And then I think I used this one. She's got another one that was like autumn colors. I think I just used this one. And Joyful 10 will save you 10% at Planything if you ever shop over there. So I have my index and I've logged the things so far. I haven't done any stencils in this book yet, but here's the Suineko inks. And these are the ones that I swatched out on camera so you could see them. These are the Versamagic Dewdrops. I've zoomed in a little bit so you can see these a little bit more clearly. I did use the larger splatter from the Oops a Daisy splatter stencil on the two 4-piece sets, and then the smaller one because I realized I don't need I don't need them to be this big. I used a smaller one on the 12 color set, which I already had. And I really love these inks. I know that there are alternative options on Amazon, but I don't know. This might be the one time that I don't know. I might become a brand snob. I don't know. But I really love the way that these turned out. And I'm happy to see that of the dewdrop colors, I've been able to find really unique ones. I wasn't sure, having already, sorry guys, the dog, having already gotten the 12-piece set, I took a gamble on the two 4-piece sets, Pretty Pastel and Four Corners, hoping that there weren't a lot of color overlap. And there really isn't color overlap. Aloe Vera is much more pastel than Tea Leaves, which is a little grungier. Adding a little bit more dirt to it is hint of pesto. So even having these swatched across here, you can see that the colors are very different. And then when it comes to the neutrals and browns, Jumbo Java is kind of a red-based brown, very deep, very different from these other kind of neutrally brown tones. Sahara Sand is a ton lighter. Niagara Mist is like a dark taupe. Wheat is a true wheat color. And Sage is almost like a paler, more green based Niagara Mist. So I'm really happy with the variety of colors that I have so far from Suineco. And yeah, I'm just loving this. I have plenty of room now for additional colors. And what I did do is go to the website for the company and looked at how many total colors there are in the Versamagic Dewdrops. There are 36 colors. I'm missing 15, and they all have G and then the number. So I wrote down the number that I'm missing and the name of the color. And I made sure that I left enough space on these. Here, let me pull this guy out a little bit. Made sure I had enough room on the rest of this page and then moving on into the next page so that if I did decide to complete the collection, I can do that here. And then with the Suineco VersaFines, the little mini guys, I swatched those. We have Smoky Gray and Vintage Sepia. And then the Memento I already had. That was, gosh, this is London Fog. I think I need to write that down. I need a pen. I think this was London Fog. Sorry, guys. It's a beautiful day outside, like absolutely gorgeous. The first fall feeling day in Texas, well, in Austin. So my dog is enjoying it. London Fog and Smoky Gray are ever so slightly different. Smoky Gray has a little bit more of a warm tone to it, and London Fog is more cool toned. But as far as level of like depth of gray, they're about the same. And as far as the difference between the VersaFine and the Memento, and even the Dewdrops, I know that these are chalk inks, and I don't remember what type of inks these are, but of course I will look it up after this video. But yeah, they are slightly different. I'm guessing the type of ink or material that it's made up is different. And yeah, I'm excited to grow out the Suineco collection. And so I'm leaving myself plenty of room so that they can all be together in, oh my gosh, what is the word? Consecutive pages. Sweet niblets. Okay, so, oh, and then I did want to point out, so Aspen Mist, I was afraid, let me see if it's still, if I have this guy. Let me pull this guy out. So I was afraid that Aspen Mist, where is it? Aspen Mist. Here it is. I was afraid that Aspen Mist was going to be like a soft baby blue, and I'm very relieved to see that it's not. I just have this feeling that I'm going to be using a lot of gray stamps or a lot of gray numbers for decorative dating in the future. And so when I saw this in the packaging, I was like, oh man, I was hoping for it to be gray. It was gray. So I think that the description on the JetPens website is more accurate than like if you're holding this and trying to color match. So keep that in mind. Like, I think you can trust what websites say the color is, even if the image looks a little bit different, because I hope that you can see like they're not the same. definitely not the same. Okay, so let's get over to the distress inks. And again, not an expert on ink materials just yet, but I hope to someday. The Versa Magic Dewdrops are a chalk ink, and so they're going to be a lot more opaque and like a solid color. I mean, you can still see the dot grid underneath. And actually, um, these don't bleed at all. So, and this is the 160 GSM Archer and Olive paper. So you can trust the chalk inks. But let's look at the distress inks. Also, you cannot see any bleeding or ghosting. These ones, oh man, I did swatch these guys off camera. It took a long time. Um, and I wish that I was paying attention to the different kit numbers that I have because they're not in order on the page. So that's just me being particular. So we have kit 1 down here. So their first kit was super bright with picked raspberry, mustard seed, peacock feathers, and spiced marmalade. And then kit 2 is up here with fired brick, mowed lawn, salty ocean, and seedless preserves. Kit 3, antique linen, vintage photo, walnut stain, and black soot. Then we jump over to my newer inks with kit 6, rusty hinge. This guy I accidentally swatched. So it's actually a layering of gathered twigs and rusty hinge. So I think that this is probably a little darker than what rusty hinge would actually look like, but it's also a good indicator that you can layer these because I did do 2 stamps on top or 2 swatches on top, and it seemed to work fine. And there was still, no bleeding or ghosting. So that is a plus for the distress inks. I was able to layer them. But as I'm going along the way, let's finish with the color. So Victorian Velvet, gorgeous pink, gathered twigs, broken china, 7, old paper. This one gave me some drama. It was very liquidy, and you can even see the color laid down a bit inconsistent. Weathered wood, which actually now looks a lot like the Aspen Mist, maybe? Yeah, weathered wood might be a lot like Aspen Mist, worn lipstick, and wild honey. And actually, looking at that makes me realize it would be cool at some point to create a page or 2 where I have all of my ink colors in rainbow order. And so right now it's just by brand, but I would love to be able to go to a page in this catalog and go, oh, what are the different blue options that I have? And I can see salty ocean, broken china, chipped sapphire, with night sky, ocean depth, and maybe sea breeze. So maybe that's a future project for me, but I feel like that's going to be a long, long journey. The last thing I want to say about the distressed inks, and these are great. They definitely have more of a heathered look to them. They're not as like a solid color as you can get with the chalk inks, and that's because they're supposed to look distressed. So they don't. It takes more like dabbing to get kind of a full color onto a stamp. But I love the way that these look. I think they're very pretty, and they're very accessible as far as purchasing goes. But my complaint is I didn't realize there were so many browns. And as I was swatching these and looking at like walnut stain and gathered twigs, and vintage photo, I mean, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 browns across the kits. And I will say, when I'm looking at them focused, they look different ish. Gathered twigs and walnut stain are very, very close. And I wonder see, this is where having like rainbow order would be helpful. Gathered twigs has a little bit more of a red undertone compared to walnut stain, which is more of a neutral undertone. But otherwise, if you took out a little bit of red from gathered twigs, it would be, I think, the same color as walnut stain. And vintage photo is like a little bit more red than gathered twigs. And then rusty, like you could put these in an order and it look ombre. So it's more brown than I would like, but I wanted the other colors, and the mini kits, when you can get them on sale at Michael's or at Joann's, like it's a pretty good deal. And as long as you're not getting duplicate colors like of the same name, then I think it's I think it's worth it getting the kits because the colors are unique, but my gosh, like, yeah, I mean, these guys are just so similar. Kit 6 and Kit 3. So it's just whether or not you really like the antique linen, could use another black, and then the Victorian velvet and broken china. Now these colors are gorgeous, so I think it's worth it. But and the antique linen is a really nice neutral too. I said I was interested in using more of the grays for decorative dating, like for large number stamps or maybe even alpha stamps. And I think antique linen can scratch that itch as well if I wanted a little bit more of a warm tone. So that is really the start of my ink collection. I know it's not nearly as much as most people, but maybe it's helpful to someone out there who is watching all of these stampers and all of their inks and fancy things. And you're like, I want to get into inks, but I just don't know where to start. I want to get into stamping and stenciling. Well, here's my start, and I'm really excited. Just a few pages. The last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to do this in another video, or maybe I'll just do it in my own time because it's time intensive. I'm going to add a tab somewhere along this journal, and it's going to separate my inks from my stencils. So this is an ink and stencil swatch book. And my plan is to definitely have a third of this book be the inks, because I think I'll always, the stencils are going to take more space. I'll just put it that way. But just imagine, oh gosh, do I have a easy accessible stencil? Okay, this is a B5, so ignore the sizing on this. Oh, but this is a B5. Shoot, that's freaking awesome. Most of my stencils are A5, and I've been trying to figure out how to store the Oops-a-Daisy B5s. So they're kind of set aside. But this is what's great about choosing a B5. Oh, I'm so excited, you guys. So the idea is I'm going to need more space for stencil swatches, and I'm going to go through my entire stencil collection, which is very small compared to most. And I'm just going to draw these out, each stencil, the name of the brand, what it's called. And then if I'm looking for a stencil, I can flip through the storage binder, or I can just pull out my catalog here and just flip through and look at my different stencil options, and I can see what they actually look like on paper. And I'm going to need more space because only one stencil will work per page. So I'll probably split at the 1/3 mark and go from there. All right, friends, that is all I have for you today. I hope that it was fun to see my jet pens order, to see how I set up my swatch book. And if you have any questions, leave them down below. I'm just so excited to like play with all these crafty things. I'm just having a wonderful time, and I hope that you will continue joining me on the journey of creative exploration. If you want to hang out with me again, please consider subscribing to my channel and find me over on Instagram. My handle is The Joyful Sojourn. Until next time, friend, God bless you. God bless you and keep you. Do something creative today. Maybe see if there's a journal you're not using and make it into your new craft catalog. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.